Tent Peg of Triumph. For 20 long years, the people of Israel lived under the heavy hand of King Jabin of Canaan. His army, led by the fearsome commander Sisera, was a shadow that darkened their land and their hearts. The people cried out to God, their voices a quiet plea carried on the wind, a desperate hope for a change that seemed impossible. In those days, a wise and courageous woman named Deborah was a judge over Israel. She sat under a palm tree, a place of shade and peace in a land of turmoil. The people came to her with their troubles, and she listened with a heart full of God's wisdom and a spirit of fierce hope. She saw not only their pain, but also the potential for their freedom. Deborah sent for a man named Barak and told him, "The Lord, the God of Israel, commands you to take 10,000 men and lead them to Mount Tabor. He will deliver Sisera and his army into your hands." But Barak hesitated, his mind filled with the might of Sisera's iron chariots. "I will go only if you go with me," he said, his voice a mix of respect and apprehension. Deborah agreed, but she warned him, "Because of your choice, the honor of the victory will not belong to you, but to a woman." So Deborah and Barak went together, and the army of Israel gathered on Mount Tabor. The men, armed with simple weapons, looked out at the plains below, their hearts pounding with a mix of determination and fear, but they were united by the presence of their judge. Sisera, with his 900 iron chariots, came to the Kishon River, confident in his power. But the battle began, and the Lord threw Sisera and his chariots into confusion. The river swelled with a sudden torrential rain, and the ground turned to thick, clinging mud, trapping the mighty army. The chariots, once a symbol of power, became a heavy, useless burden. Sisera, seeing his army defeated and his chariots mired in the mud, abandoned his chariot and fled on foot. He was a great warrior, but now he was a hunted man, running for his life across the plains. His armor, once a source of pride, was now a heavy weight, and his mind was a whirlwind of fear and disbelief. He came upon the tent of Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite. There was peace between Heber's clan and King Jabin, so Sisera thought he would be safe. He saw the tent as a sanctuary, a place to rest and escape. Jael saw him coming, a lone, desperate figure, and a quiet resolve settled in her heart. Jael said to him, "Come in, my lord. Do not be afraid." He went into her tent, and she gave him a drink of milk when he asked for water. He was so tired he could barely stand, and he trusted her completely, seeing only a kind woman offering him refuge. Jael, however, saw the enemy of her people and the opportunity God had placed before her. Sisera lay down and fell into a deep sleep, his body finally giving in to exhaustion. He was a man of war, but in that moment, he was as vulnerable as a child. He was completely at rest, believing he was safe, unaware of the quiet strength that was about to change the course of history. Jael knew what she had to do. She took a tent peg and a hammer, her heart filled with a quiet strength that came not from a soldier's training, but from a deep faith. This was not a moment for a sword or a shield, but for the simple tools of her life, tools that would become instruments of God's purpose. With a single, purposeful motion, Jael drove the tent peg into the ground. It was a final, decisive act that brought an end to Sisera's tyranny and secured the freedom of Israel. The sound was a quiet echo of a great victory, a sound that would be heard for generations. Soon after, Barak arrived, pursuing Sisera. He was still filled with the adrenaline of the battle and the uncertainty of the chase. Jael went out to meet him and said, "Come, and I will show you the man you are looking for." She led him into her tent, and there was Sisera, dead on the ground. Barak looked at the scene before him, the dead commander and the woman who had brought him down. He remembered Deborah's words, "The honor of the victory will not belong to you, but to a woman." He understood then that God's plan was far greater than his own expectations, and that true victory comes in unexpected ways. The news of Sisera's death spread like wildfire. The people of Israel, who had lived in fear for so long, were finally free. They celebrated with songs and dancing, their quiet pleas now a chorus of praise. They had been delivered not by a mighty army alone, but by a simple act of courage from an unexpected hero. Jael's story became a testament to the power of faith and the quiet strength of those who are often overlooked. She was not a warrior or a judge, but a woman who used what she had, a tent peg and a hammer, to do what was right. Her courage reminds us that God can use anyone, in any situation, to bring about his purposes.